Well, hello, salam, and good evening, my friends. It is Thursday night before Halloween weekend, and I'm once again feeling, well, to be honest, I was feeling a little stagnant today. Um, and not stagnant in general, but like, I don't know, creative juice is just a little bit slowed down for whatever reason. I don't know, like it's crazy sometimes, right? But I remembered that I had this song that I was working on the last time I did a live video, this industrial song that I'm actually really excited about. So I took it and actually dropped it into Pro Tools. So I'm actually getting ready to take what I already have, the program stuff, and kind of mix it a little bit. And from there, then start playing the actual guitars on it. So I figured I'd let you guys in on that process a little if you're interested. Hey, Julie, how's it going? Welcome. And don't forget to hit this thumbs up if you have not. I'm actually I don't know if I've ever done this before. I'm actually doing a the live feed on my laptop, my built-in webcam. So it looks very different. So I'm actually going to go to another view here. I'm actually go to my YouTube channel so I can see a little bit more what's going on. Where we at? Haha, there we go. Oh, thanks, Julie. Good to know it's looking good out there. All right. So anyway, yeah, so I got the song that I was working on last time, and I'm going to take it, and I got it into my recording program, so the main one that I use. So I'm going to do a little bit of work on that and figure I'd just let you in on the process. I'll spin you around here. Let's see what it looks like. I don't know how well you can see that. But that is my recording screen. See if I can make it a little more easily visible. I got to work on my presentation of this stuff a little bit for sure. But anyway, there it is. So I'm just going to play. So right now I haven't mixed this. I haven't done anything other than drop all the separate files into Pro Tools, which is the program I use. So this is literally like from scratch. Like when I do a song, and this is an industrial song, so there's a little more programming to it than usual. Programming meaning like digitally created music versus stuff I actually play. And yeah, so I usually before I start recording like live guitars and things, I'll program a drum track, maybe a little bit of synthesizer or something artificial, but for the most part, it's just drums. Then I put it into this program here, and I actually chop things up a little bit, mix up what I have, and then from there, I'll start playing my live instruments, my guitars and my singing and bass and all that kind of stuff. So one of the first things I do, so I have all these files, right? These are all parts of a drum kit or things that are programmed. Like, for example, here's my scratch guitar, which is the guitar I played in when I just recorded my rough version of this. So that sounds like this. Right? So that's just going to be there for me to use as a guide for if I'm not remembering the parts I played or not, which is definitely, that can happen. Then we got this little, it's called Mars Choir, right? That's got like a really ambient, kind of weird voice sound. Then we got this, it's just called Ambient Pad. Let's see what that is. Oh yeah. That's like that little thing I used to break up the sections. Then this one that was called Abuse, which is just a weird name for anything, but what is this? Ah, right. Okay, then we got Dirty Wibbler, which is this. Kind of a helicopter-y kind of sound. This is a hi-hat. This is the closed hi-hat. Right. Here's the open hi-hat. which it looks like actually, oh, there must have been 2 open hi-hats. This one was not used. See, if you notice here on these ones, there's these are called waveforms, right? You can see there's like actually a sound wave here, right? Those are actually times when the instrument is used, hit. This has no sound wave, so we're just going to get rid of it. I must not have used it. Who else we got here? Is that Janice? What's up, Janice? I'm going to spin this laptop around for a second so I can say hi. What's up? You guys are awesome. I'm so glad you guys are here. 2 of my favorite people on the planet. So, Janice, this is a song. I don't remember. I don't think you were here the last live I did, but this is a song that just off the cuff, I just decided to write and record, and I did a live version of it, or a live version. Wow, I'm so tired right now, like my mind is fried. But I did a live video of writing the main music part and recording the just the basic. I call it a scratch guitar part. Just it's not the guitar part I'm going to use. It's just the rough idea. And then I programmed some things to go with it. So right now what we're doing is going through all the stuff I programmed. I put it into my actual recording program that I use for producing most of my stuff. And now I'm just kind of going through what I have and doing my preliminary preparatory things with that before I get into playing any guitars, right? That was a lot of information. I said it very fast, so I apologize for that. But I'm going to spin you back around here. Back to the recording screen. Like I said, I apologize. Next time I'll have to figure out a way to do this where you can actually see the screen a little better. And I'm doing these videos, these lives. Honestly, I would love to get into doing regular lives again, but there's a lot going on. It's been, oh, thank you, Janice. It's been really tough, like getting into a regular schedule of videoing, just with everything else going on. I've been producing clients. I've been playing shows. Also, 2 things have been very busy with Marcy's business, with Mixed Media Girl, with moving offices, and there's just been a lot of expansion happening there, and it's all fantastic stuff. It's just been very difficult for me to, I don't know, by the time I get to a point where I can even sit down and do anything, it's like I'm usually pretty tired, to be totally honest with you. And I do still try to do something creative every day, minimally. And like I said, I've been producing a lot of people, so I've been active in doing things, but I haven't done as much on my own stuff because I've been working on other clients' things, which is cool. Busy is a very good thing. It keeps me out of trouble as much as can be expected. So again, going through some of this stuff here. So we got, we got a rainbow wheel of death. That's no good. This is a Pro Tools thing. Sometimes it does this. Not to worry. So what you do? It says it's fine. No, it's not. Okay. We're going to restart Pro Tools. This is one of those things that is just a fact of Pro Tools life, is that Pro Tools has also been nicknamed Crash Tools by producers because it just periodically will crash sometimes. It can be definitely hard, but that is the way to put it, though, is you really do have to schedule sometimes your creativity. Like in a perfect world, it would just happen. You would just your days would just flow, and you would just be creative when you want to be creative, and you would go with your own flow. But when life gets hectic, you really do. You need to schedule your creativity. It's important, actually. For me, it's how I breathe, So, quite important. So now this happens every once in a great while, where sometimes the computer itself, it's an older computer too. So sometimes I need to actually restart my computer, like do a hard restart. Oh, here we go. It is coming up. Okay, good. So sorry about the delay on that. Like I said, it's a great program, and it's the program. Everything that you've heard that I've released, I think all but 1 or 2 things has been done on Pro Tools. So just to give you a sense, this is this is kind of like what would I liken this to? That would be, because I don't know how versed you guys are in recording, but like analogous to this would be like in painting. This would be like my I mean, it's a virtual version of my painting studio, but it's audio, right? So all my tools are literally in here. Everything I need to record and produce my music is in this program, and I just love it to death. Great, great program. And while this is happening, because it's being really slow, I may just end up restarting my computer anyhow, because this is just obnoxious. Again, I apologize for the delay, but let's see. What can I do that would be useful? So this song, yeah, see, it's doing the Rainbow Wheel of Death. So I think what I'm going to end up having to do is restarting the computer. So let's see here. Yeah. Ignore. And what we're going to do is restart. And I may end up having to do a hard restart. We will see. Huh. Yeah. Sorry, you see my head kind of, the top of my head poking in. It's because I'm trying to look around at the comments because I don't have them on my computer screen because my computer screen is, where Pro Tools is. But anyway, this is the guitar part that I come up with that started this whole thing, right? It's so that was like what I started with, and then I just took that and made it a whole song, Oh wow. Julie, where do you live again? Aren't you in Arizona? If I recall correctly, is that right? Because and out of curiosity, does he do anything with Macs? Or yeah, you're in Tucson. As I say, you're not. I mean, it's a little far, but it's not crazy far. But does he do anything with a Mac? Because if he does custom Macs, or if he can refurb a Mac, I'd be interested in that. Honestly, I am definitely very much a Mac guy. I think going to PC would be very difficult for me. But if I know that Mac, like I have a guy that I've worked with, actually the current computer I got from a guy that does Mac refurbs and customizations, and he works only with older stuff. He can't work with the newer Macs, but that's fine for me. Oh, that's okay. If he doesn't, that's okay. I know Apple, from what I understand, Apple's kind of a pain to do much of anything with unless you really, really know it. So it's totally okay. I'm doing a hard reset on my computer now because it just ain't cooperating. And I really want to show you, I want to show you the stuff that I got in here from this last recording session. And then I want to show you, there's actually things that I do to prepare it before I even get into recording over, just to get a little preliminary soundscape happening. And it really sets the mood and the tone for recording the whole song. I find it interesting, and I hope you do too. If by all means, though, if any of what I'm doing is you're not digging it, it's boring or whatever, just let me know and I can definitely move on to something else or whatever, Y'all. So again, I apologize. Bear with me while I'm waiting, though. I got this guitar that I haven't played in a while. And it shows it's out of tune. Figure I'll just play around a little bit while we're waiting for this computer to restart. Why not? Oh, hey, Tina, what's going on? What's up? I'm totally just screwing around looking for ideas. By the way. Yeah, I'm glad you were able to catch it too, Tina. That's awesome. And thank you for being here. Very cool. All right, it looks like my computer started up. Let's see if I can get Pro Tools to start up. Let's see. Yeah, I got this guy I've been talking to about getting a refurbed Macintosh to replace what I got here. It'll be much faster, much more stable, and I'll also get an updated version of Pro Tools that'll be much more stable. Thing about a lot of these programs, Pro Tools, one of them is that it's like the technology and the computers and everything progress. And it's funny because then you get to a point where if you haven't updated, like I've got an older version of Pro Tools that only could operate with so high of an operating system. So now it's to the point where I have to get a whole new computer, basically, in order to upgrade my system, which is annoying, but whatever. So, okay, good. Pro Tools is back up. Let's see what we got here. Let's take a look. So here again, we're looking at the recording screen. I'm just going to start from the top and see what we got here. And this, what you're looking at, are the things that I did the last time I was on my live. So all the stuff that I played, all the stuff that I programmed is right here. So starting at the top, this is the guitar part, right? It's a scratch guitar. I'm not going to use this. This is just for guidance in case I forget the part that I played somewhere, whatever. Right, so that's like my main guitar line. This is called the Mars Choir. It's a vocal thing, kind of a distorted voice thing. Where's that? I'm sorry, I got to turn this around and look at the comment again because I see something here. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Right on, Julie. Right on. Right on. All right. So then we got this thing called an ambient pad. A pad is just a synthetic, usually it's a held note or held series of notes sound for effect more than anything. This one's called Abuse. It's a little accent thing here. Random, right? And this is called the Dirty Wibbler. It's kind of a helicopter-y kind of sound. I went, because it's an industrial track, a lot of sound effect kind of stuff in here. This is a hi-hat. So part of the drum kit. This is, actually there's nothing here. There's no, see how these have like a wave here. Like, there, I'll actually bring it in closer so you can see. There's like a waveform, it's called. This is literally what the sound wave looks like. There's no sound wave on this guy here, so I'm going to get rid of it because I don't need that. Then another hi-hat. So again, another part of the drum kit. Here's a kick drum, like a bass drum. Now here's another kick drum, but again, no waveform here, so I'm going to get rid of this. That means that it was in the programmer when I pulled everything out of the other program, but I ended up not using it, so there's nothing there. And by the way, if you have any questions, if I'm not explaining something well, by all means, feel free to ask any questions. I will try to see them and answer them. This is called a noise pad. All right. This is like my intro and outro to the song, right? There's another wobble pad, kind of helicopter-y. And this says noise lead. Kind of almost like a airy organ, right? We got a snare drum here. Then we have another snare drum that's going to have a different tone to it. Very different. Okay, cool. So that's everything we got. So now what I'm going to do is, if you notice, I'll give you an example here. So when these things came over from the other program, if you notice, there is a duplicate, like there's a lower, an upper and a lower wave that is identical. I don't know if you guys see that. See, this is one file here, and the file has an upper part and a lower part. This is a stereo file. Now, when I'm doing recording and mixing, I prefer having most things in mono, which means there's not an upper and a lower, there's just one wave as opposed to two, right? And without getting too technical about it, it's just better for mixing that way with most things. There's sometimes I'll have a few things that are stereo, particularly if it's like an effect that I want to be in the entire sound spectrum as opposed to put in one part of it. So I'm going to keep a couple of things in stereo actually. So this choir pad here, and then this ambient pad here, because I want those to be like throughout the entire, like I want it to sound like it's, if you were in a room listening to this recording, I want it to sound like that is everywhere in the room when it comes on, right? If that makes sense. What do we got here? Good question. So when I play a song live, I mean, to be fair, most of the stuff that I do live with my band, it's not stuff like this, but you can definitely set it up. They're called samplers. It's basically a machine that plays back this stuff over your track live, and it's all synced up in a way that it actually works with playing live. Usually your drummer will be following what's called a click track, which is literally a track I'll show you actually. So a click track is, it's a way of keeping time when you record, right? So if you didn't have a drum beat, you could play to a click track, it's called. So this is a click track. It's literally just that. So live, what you have is you have a drummer that's on a click track like that, and the programming is also all set to trigger based on the timing of that click track. So in doing that, you can actually set it up so that you can use this stuff live, and your drummer's just got to be in time with it, and then everyone follows the drummer, and that's pretty much it. But for something like this, I would probably pull a part or two of it and have a keyboard player play it. As far as all the effecty stuff goes, you know, I would probably arrange it for a live band, and I would do it a little differently. But I definitely could play like everything that way. When I'm producing for others, do I use this to set a soundscape for them, or just make sure I understand? I'm going to look at that. Let's see. When you say use this, what are you referring to, Janice? Like, do I use this program, do you mean? Because this, when I produce other people, this is the program I use, if that's what you're talking about. As far as, yeah, Pro Tools is what I predominantly use when I'm producing. Now, the program that I made all these sounds in, though, that's a different program. And when I'm, okay, so there's two kinds of recording. There's when you program things, which means you go into a computer and digitally program in the music that you want, or the sounds or the effects or whatever, which is what all this stuff is. The drums and the everything that's in here except for my scratch guitar is all programmed. And then there's live recording, which is when you actually play the drums, play the guitar, play the bass, whatever it is you sing, you know, that's all done live as opposed to done in a computer with a bunch of binary code. But everything ultimately when I produce gets dropped into Pro Tools, and that is what I use to create the overall soundscape. Yes, that is correct. And, you know, there's a lot of programs out there. They ultimately all do the same thing. My experience has been people tend to use whatever they learned on. I learned on Pro Tools first, so that's just what I'm used to, and so it's what I use. But there's a lot of programs out there, and they all kind of do the same thing. And they're all, at this point, the technology is, we're at a point where most of the programs out there are pretty damn good, actually. So, all right, let's go back to here. So now what I'm going to do, so I have these few tracks that I'm going to keep stereo, and the rest I'm going to split into mono. So I'm going to highlight from here. Nope, wait, I lied. From here all the way down, right click, split to mono is what that says on the menu there. So now I have the stereo version, and then I have a left and a right, like the mono version. So to give you a sense how before, the difference between stereo and mono, right? So here's, for example, Yeah, it's a little bit harder to see. Let me get a better example. Okay, so here, this is a kick drum. It's like a bass drum, right? Let me solo that. Right? So right now what I'm looking at is the stereo file. This is a left and a right. So if you were looking at a room, pretend there was a bass drum on the left of the room and the right of the room, played identically at exactly the same time. That's what you're seeing right here, right? Now, I split that into mono. So what I did is I took these and basically separated them. So now I have one here as an individual track, right? And then identical is the right side or the bottom, however you want to think about it. And just to give you a little more reality, if you look at that same drum, I don't know if this is helping here. This may be a little bit, I mean, I'm getting a little technical here, so I apologize if it's too technical, but here is basically saying for the stereo, for the left and the right, I want my left side all the way over to the left, my right side all the way over to the right. Now you could take these and put them all the way up into the middle, both of them, and now it's basically like having one track. You can move them all around. If you picture like a stage, this is like you're moving things left and right and center on the stage, right? So anyway, and then these are the individual ones. So basically, without getting too complicated, I'm going to get rid, all the ones I just split, I'm going to get rid of the stereo and the other side. I only want one mono track, right? So I'm going to move this up here. I'm basically going to take all the lefts and keep them and then delete everything else. That's arbitrary. It could be the rights. Doesn't really matter. Again, it's one of those things. This is music, and music production is very much like another language in a way to me. So it took me a while to like catch on to this stuff and really get conversant in it, so to speak. So again, I apologize if this is a bit on the technical side. It's about to get less technical and more just, you know, playing awesome music. So bear with me. Please get into the good stuff. And that's the other thing, is that producing music is definitely fun, but there are definitely tedious aspects to it. This is one of those kind of sort of tedious aspects. Okay. Okay. So now we got that cleaned up. And one of the things too about recordings, a lot of it comes down to like, I'm going to spin around for a second. A lot of it comes down to keeping things organized, getting rid of stuff you don't need right away, just to make things as simple as possible. Oh, thanks, Tina. I'm glad this is helping. Yeah, it's really cool. And working from the production end, it does give you a very different inside look at music in general. It's actually pretty cool. And it actually, for me, it's given me a much deeper understanding of music as a whole, as a subject, not just about recording. So it's pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. All right. So now organizational stuff. So I like to move my drum stuff. I like to kind of group stuff so that it's together in a way that makes sense, right? So here's my scratch guitar. I'll eventually get rid of this, but for right now, I'm going to keep it for reference. We got my kick drum, got my snares, my hi-hats. Okay, good. Now, this is all my what I would term non-instrument stuff. Like a drum is a legit instrument, even though it's programmed. It's not, it's an instrument. Whereas like these things are purely just programmed stuff, right? I'm going to kind of group them a little further. So let's see. This over here. My warblers over here. Noise pads. Okay, I think I like that. Now, the other thing I will do is color code things, which again, just the more visually organized you can be, the better it is. It just really makes a difference. So let's see. All right, so what I got here, I got my drums all grouped together. I got this one called Abuse, which is a very random thing, random sound as a sound effect. I'm actually moved to the X. It's more of a sound effect. I kind of create, like, as I'm separating these things, it's almost like a hierarchy of importance in a way. Drums are definitely more important than all this other stuff in a sense because they keep the beat and they keep the whole song glued together. But I just have these kind of grouped color-wise by the type of effect they are, the type of sound they are. All right. Now I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm going to manage my drums a little bit more. So this is what's called a bus. And without getting too technical, because I can't even really think of a good way to describe this other than to say that it's a place where I can take several tracks and send them into one place to be affected the same way. Like to have the same effects or to be altered in the same way. It's like, if you imagine, like I got these two snare drum tracks, instead of having them go out into my speakers, I'm going to have them go through this bus, this different track here, combined, because I want them to be at the same level and I want them to be affected the same way. So it just kind of combines them, right? I hope that makes sense. Let's see. And I want to color code that too. And then I'm going to do the same. This is actually a much, as far as drums go, a much simpler setup than I usually do. All right, and then what I'll usually like to do is a drum bus that everything in the drum kit ultimately gets sent to. I call it a sub mix because I'm going to mix, like there's the overall mix of the entire song, but then I'm also going to mix the different parts of the drum kit with each other to make the drum kit by itself sound good. Does that make sense? All right. So now I have to set for a path. I'm basically creating a path for this stuff here to go to here to keep it simple. Let's see. Let's do that. So now if you look here, these snare drums, if I go to the snares, whoop. So you see how you're getting signal here and signal here? Now watch. I'm going to send these to that bus that I just set up. Okay. Snare. Now, watch this meter. Everything's coming through here now. And if I do this, even though you're seeing signal here, this is like the speakers now that go to then the actual external speakers. So it'll become, I think, more obvious why I did that and why that's helpful in a little bit. But for right now, suffice it to say that that's what that is. And then the same for the hi-hats. Okay, good. So now our hi-hats are doing same thing. Right? Same idea. Alrighty. Now, I'm pulling everything down here and doing what's called panning, which just means like if you're looking at the different drums on the stage, this knob here is like saying, do I want them to sound like they're on the left side, the right side, or the middle of the stage? If you think of it that way. So my kick drum I typically want in the middle, snare drum, same thing. And then my hi-hats I want off to the side. But now what I'm going to do, all of my drums are going to get sent to this drum sub mix. So all drums go through here. So now, oh my goodness, who is texting me? Bear with me a moment. I have an appointment to make chili with my nephew, which I'm quite excited about. And I'm going to have to jump off soon to go do that. But I want to at least get through this here because it's kind of interesting, I think. Oh, I'm going to check my comments because I haven't in a second. Yeah, Meatloaf and Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson in particular, I know, was like something else in the studio, and in a good way. I mean, the guy really took a lot of pride in what he did. So yeah, those guys are two good examples of production taken to the nth degree for sure. So, and I hope that you can see this okay. Again, I apologize for not having a better view for you. Next time I'll try to do this on my phone and get you up closer on this screen. But anyway, back to setting up my drums. Now, what's cool, so these two snare drums are already going here. So now I just set this to go here, or here rather, and that's literally all I need to do for those. Same here for the hi-hats because they're already both on one track. So now what I have here, just to show you, and this is not mixed at all, but just to show you here, if you look at this meter here, the whole drum kit is going through this meter, right? So now I want to mix my drum kit, which is an important thing because if your drums sound like crap, that's generally speaking not a good thing. And then before I do any of that, though, I'm going to set up what's called a master bus or X bus. So everything that is currently playing will ultimately go through here. This is the last, this is like what's going out the speakers. And this is the way I keep track of that and manage that. Okay. So let's mix our drum kit. Start with our kick. And I don't want it to be too crazy overbearing, but this is going to be pretty kick heavy. Now, before I do anything more with the kick, I want to mix my snare drums with each other because we got the snare drum master here, right? Those sound about equal in level. This one might come down a little bit more. Yeah, I'll take that. Okay, so now my snares are mixed. So I'm going to turn my snare all the way down. And then I'm going to mix my hi-hats. Okay, cool. So hi-hats, I'm feeling pretty good about where that is. And then what I'm going to do is group these so that when I move any one of them, they'll stay proportionately they'll just stay proportionate to each other based on where I have them set. All right. Now we can mix the whole kit. So we got our kick drum. Oh, the other thing too is so everything in the drum kit is going to this master drum submix. This is, if you imagine the whole stage right now, because the drum submix is spread all the way to the left and right, it's as though the drum kit is spread across the whole stage. I'm going to tighten that up. I'm going to make it fairly tight. Not crazy tight, but a little tight. Now, this is by no means a final version of anything. I'm literally just getting things set up so that they sound decent enough to record to, right? But I'm pretty happy with that as far as a recording, very rough recording mix, right? Now, if you look here, this drum is taking up the whole damn meter as far as what's going out of the speakers. So I'm going to pull this down. So the drums are right about halfway-ish maybe, right? Because this is what's called headroom. The above where the meter is registering is called your headroom. It's how much sonic room you have to work with before your sound starts distorting and sounding like shit, basically. So you want to keep that room open because you've got other things we're about to be mixing in here, and then we'll have other things we're recording, and we want it all to be able to get in there. So anyway, there we go. We got a drum submix. Now, let's get some of this other stuff mixed in here. And let's see, where do these things come in? So here, okay. That's going to be a little bit tough to mix until we have the guitars in, because it's going to have to be compared to that. I think that's probably a decent starting point anyway. Yeah, I like that. Now, let's see what this is like. So this is that ambient solo thing. Now these pan knobs here, I'm just playing around with the width of the different things on here, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time going into it, because again, I think it's going to end up being it's a lot, and I don't want to go too far with being potentially confusing, because it's easy to do with this stuff. But let's go here now. That's an interesting effect. That's just going to be in the last chorus of the song. Just to give it a little bit of dynamic interest. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Actually, I may actually have this go all the way over to the right side. Interesting. Okay. Keep in mind too, we're gonna have guitars on here. We're gonna have bass on here. We're gonna have vocal on here. There's gonna be a lot of other stuff. So this is definitely not going to sound like a finished product, and it's not necessarily supposed to at this stage. That's where we're at now. Is we're gonna be adding a bunch to this. So now let's see. We got a couple other things left to mix in here. Let's see how this sounds. Let's go with that for now. And then we got this abuse thing. Let's see what this is like. Get the guitars out of there. All right, for now I'm going to do that. So just to give you a sense of what this whole thing sounds like. Let's take it from, actually I'll put the scratch guitar in too, just to give you some context. This is going to be re-recorded, but. No, I take it back. That sounds terrible. It needs to be, the guitars just need to be recorded. But anyway, so basically, oh, hey, Linda. So basically what I got here, and I'm going to kind of end it off here for now, is a good starting point to now record all my live instruments off of. So next thing I'll do is record the actual keeper guitar parts. I'll record some bass. Really, that's beyond that. It'll just be putting some lyrics on this and doing some vocals. And you know, I was planning on doing that all as live videos. If you guys are into that, I have no idea when I will do them. It will, excuse me, probably be another impromptu thing like tonight and like the last one. That's just kind of seems like it's what's working. But if you guys are cool with that, then I'll just pop on again when I'm ready to do some more on this. And next time, I wanted to get to it tonight, but next time it'll be recording some guitars. So how does everyone feel about that? Cool. Tina's in. Everyone else in? Everyone else good with that? Marvelous. Marvelous. Well, good. Then, guys, I am going to go make some. Oh, Johnnie Metz. Holy crap. That's somebody I haven't talked to or seen in a million years. How the hell are you doing, man? Boy. Johnnie Metz. If for those of you, I feel like all of you guys actually have heard the Welcome to Hollywood album. Johnnie Metz was the other guitarist and singer and bass player on that. And he is quite the talent, incredible songwriter, incredible musician. And Johnnie, I am doing fantastic. And I hope you and Em are doing awesome. Unfortunately, I got to jump off right now. But hey, Sabrina. Well, I don't know. Did you comment before or are you just getting in here? Boy, I wish I didn't have to go. I would love to hang out and just, you know, chill with you guys. Yeah, Johnnie Metz is like kind of, in my universe, he's a bit of a legend. He's literally one of the best songwriters I've ever known in my life. Not to make you blush or anything, John, but it's true. And one of the most effortless songwriters I've ever met in my life, too. Like, it's actually always been, anytime I've worked with him, it's been a lot of fun. So I definitely, we got to get together and do some writing sometime, man. It's been too long. It's been years. Gosh. Anyway, you got my number and I got yours, so we should touch base soon. But yeah, I'm going to bounce. I'm going to go make some chili. Like I said, we got a big Halloween party at the house coming up Saturday. So me and my nephew are going to, who is a better chef than I am, we're going to go collab on whipping up some chili for that party. And then I'll see you guys on the next video. So thanks for coming and hanging out. Peace. See y'all later. If I don't talk to you before, have an awesome, very safe Halloween. Mwah. Later.